Angelo Mancios is here. He's a financial advisor with Sun Life Financial. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So a lot of people on the resolution list have get the money in order, get it straight, let's make a plan for 2014. So one of the first things you say is get some advice.
Yeah, the number one thing I believe is, just like if you were going to go back to the gym, you probably get a trainer if you've never gone to a gym or you're starting out. Same thing with a financial advisor. You get a good financial advisor that you can work with. They'll help you with budgeting, help you with debt reduction, figure out sort of what phase in the financial plan that you're, life path that you're at. It's huge, and it can really be advantageous.
So once you find a financial planner, then you should actually build a plan,
Absolutely.
and then you have to stick to it.
Well,
That's the
yeah,
hard part.
and the plan is always going to move and evolve as change happens. Take me for instance, 7 years ago, I met the love of my life and got married 5 years ago. We've got 3 kids under 4.5, and we bought a house, and I started a business, and so there's been a lot of change, and it's pretty busy. It's coming.
Exactly.
So you're welcome. Get as much sleep as you can now. So you're getting everything down on paper is so important. And one thing we talk about with our clients is show me where you are now, and I'll show you where you're going to be if we do absolutely nothing. And with a few recommendations and some changes, hey, you could be here or here, right? And the earlier you start, obviously, the more time you've got on your side to make things that you want to happen.
I cover consumer issues and spending, and debt's a big deal. It's tough. You just talked about all the money that you're spending. I've got 2 kids in university. It's not easy. 48% of Canadians couldn't deal with their debt in 2013. How do you deal with debt?
So I'm a big believer that you get out of debt in the same sort of pace you got into debt. A lot of people, I find, they try and tackle the debt all at once in one shot. And what you find is they go on this roller coaster ride where, they rack it up and then they pay it off, and they rack it up and they pay it off. It's like a hamster on a spinning wheel. And then what happens is you get to 65 and you say, oh, well, I spent my entire life paying off debt. Now what am I going to do? So I think debt management and building your savings has to be a tandem, right? So if we want to use the metaphor of going back to the gym to become physically fit, being financially fit, your debt is maybe the fat in the inches you want to peel away, and the savings is the muscle and the tone you want to build.
I was talking to an expert recently, and he was saying actually that it's people with a lot of money that are getting into more debt typically than people. You think it's like people who are living paycheck to paycheck, but no, oftentimes it's people, the more you make, the more you spend.
60% of Canadians typically spend more than they make. And we have clients that make 30, 40 grand a year, and you know what? They're set for life. Now, they're not going to buy a Porsche at age 65, but they're going to maintain their level of lifestyle throughout their retirement, and they're not going to miss a beat. We have clients that make $200,000, $300,000 a year, and I look at that and think, oh, this is a dog's breakfast.
Because
how am I going to do this?
They're making $400,000 a year to spend
Well,
that
yeah,
way.
because you know what? Listen, you know what? When people are taking time off work to spend 3 days in line at the Apple store to buy an $800 iPad, you got to sometimes wonder where your priorities are, right? I'm not saying don't buy the iPad. One thing I say to our clients is this. It's your money, you earned it, you spend it however you want, and I'm not going to criticize you on that. But the one thing I'm going to ask you to do is own up to it. So have a budget. And, I go through the drive-thru, I get my coffee every morning. And my wife says to me, Angelo, I could put it in a little thermos with a little heart saying I love you on it, and we can save some money. And I say to her, you know what? Going through the drive-thru in the morning is sort of how I start my day mentally. But in my budget, I've got $40 a month for that $2 cup of coffee that I rip through every day. So I own up to it.
This is something that leads to your next point. You're talking about, taking care of yourself, right? That little bit of coffee, it gets you on your way and you've budgeted for it. But I like this next tip, which is invest in yourself.
And you can do that so many ways. You can get educated, right? With all the time we spend chasing whatever it is we're chasing every day, and for us it's 3 kids at home, take half an hour and read a book or read up on ways that you can better budget or better invest. And look at an RRSP, look at a tax-free savings account, look at the benefits of paying down your mortgage early or having some insurance or how that's all gonna to bundle together. And again, having a good advisor backs you up in that sense and says, okay, now you're in a position where you've got your budget under control. We can start tackling some of that debt. We can start putting some savings together. Yeah, you can take a couple bucks and spend it frivolously. There's nothing wrong with that. You've got to have some balance. And then at the same time, as long as you're going to be on track to get everything you want, a plan's going to do it. And that's That's the key.
And when you say be tax conscious, what do you mean by that?
So I'll give you an example. I think that there are lots of solutions out there to build our wealth. The problem is there are too many people I find, and this is a personal opinion, too many people I find have an answer for everyone. And you can't, you know, we're all individuals, right? And each person's financial plan is like a snowflake. No two are alike. So what I tell people is just make sure that you're conscious of the tax consequence on the way out. An example, you know, my wife, when she started out as a teacher, was at the lowest income tax bracket. And when she retires because of her teacher's pension, CPP, and old age security, her tax bracket's going to be higher than the first year she worked. Well, the advice she got was, oh, put money in an RSP, because that's what everybody does. So she saved 20% to pay, what, 40% later? That doesn't make sense. But you know what? If you're at a 40% tax bracket and you know that's going to drop to, say, 30 or 33, hey, now we're in business. The RSP is a tax deferral tool that's going to save you money over the long run. Your tax-free savings account, oh, that is the greatest gift.
Right?
It is the greatest gift the government has given us in recent times. Because no tax ever, how can you go wrong with no tax ever?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest mistake with the TFSA is people think, oh, it's just cash. I just put it in the bank and, oh, I make 0.25%. You know what? You can put stocks in it. You can put mutual funds. You can put T-bills.
Okay.
Our clients last year made between 12 and, 13% in their tax-free savings accounts.
Tax-free.
Yeah.
Now, they took a little bit of risk to do it. And again, before you do any kind of investing, make sure you know what you're getting into. You know the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
But you know what? There are multiple solutions out there if you know where to go get it.
That's it, which takes us right back to get some advice. Thank you so much. Angela Manzios, a financial advisor with Sun Life Financial. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Great advice. It's just about 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. We'll be right back.